Hello everyone, this is Simple Math for you. Today we will have revision for Chapter 4, Linear and Nonlinear Functions, Part 1. أهلا بكم في Simple Math for you. واليوم سيكون هناك مراجعة للدوال الخطية واللا خطية الجزء الأول. Question number 1. The table shows how many calories are burned when laughing for a given number of minutes. Table موجود. This is the table here. And the calories are shown. You are asked to graph the function. Simply, graphing is just plotting the points. This is x coordinate and this is y coordinate as it is here shown. And when you are plotting, start with x coordinates. So you go to 1, jump to 3, and this is the 3. So this is the first point. Second point, 2 and 5. This is 2. And it is paired to 5. So this is 2, etc. 3 is with 7, and it will be shown as a line here, extended, and we will just match until here because number of calories will not be negative, number of minutes will not be negative. So I'll stop here. I will not use this part nor this part. We will use the first quadrant only. ربع الأول فقط لأنه ما في أعداد سالبة للدقائق ولا للسعرات الحرارية. طيب, if I add the question here, is this function linear? It's obvious here that it's linear. بين خطي. When you graph it, it's a line. But if we don't graph, will we be able to know whether it's linear or not? Yes, we will. If you count the difference, if you find the difference between two consecutive numbers, here you can see that 1 is added to 1 to get 2, then 2 plus 1 is 3, and 3 plus 1 is 4. So the difference here is constant. Here, 3 is added to 2 to get the 5, similarly to 7, similarly to 9. So we have here constant difference in x correspond to constant difference in y. Since this is the case, then yes, it's linear. It's linear relationship or linear function. Okay. Tickets to an amusement park cost $35 for adults and $20 for children. So this is the price for adults and 20 for children. The equation 35x plus 20y equals to 140 shows how many adults x, so here this is for x, and children y visit the amusement park with $140. The question is, if no adults go, he names the adult x, so my x is the 0. No adults go. That means how many children can go? Yani, y is equal to what if x is 0? Simply, this is our original equation. No adults go, so this is 0, and we will solve this equation. Only you need to divide by 20, so y is 7. And this is called, by the way, y-intercept. So this is the answer. Which best describes the slope of a horizontal line? Horizontal line, الخط الأفقي, which can be looking like this or like this. Of course, here there is no slope because there is no change in the y. That means the slope is 0. While this undefined means it is for vertical line. It looks like that. Negative slope from left to right going down. Positive slope from left to right going up, increasing. So our answer here is the 0, of course. In 2000, there were 164 seniors. So we will write 2000 is paired with 164. In the graduating class, in 2015, after 15 years, there are 85 seniors. The question is, what is the rate of change? Rate of change from 2000 to 2015. Rate of change is the change in y over change in x. And you can apply also the slope formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If you consider that this is the first point, يعني هاي x1, y1, and this is x2, y2, you can replace and use this formula. So it's 185 minus 164 over 2015 minus 2000. Now, subtract 185 minus 164, which is 21, over 15. Of course, you are not finding the 21 over 15 as one of the answer because this is not the simplest fraction. مش أبسط صورة. Both of numerator and denominator البسط والمقام divisible يقبلون القسمة على 3. So when you divide, this becomes 7 and 15 divided by 3 is 5. So 7 over 5 is our answer, which is D. Perfect. Which is the linear equation with slope of 1 over 2 and y-intercept is -5. Since you mentioned, he's mentioned ذكر slope y-intercept, so we will use slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is our slope, b is the y-intercept. So simply, y is, in our case, slope is 1 over 2, and this is x, plus the y-intercept, which is -5. You will not leave plus minus here, so plus minus turns to minus, so it's half x minus 5, and this is my y, and this is b. Match the linear function with correct description of how its graph differs from the parent graph. Since there is no absolute value or any other power or any other bracket except the normal parentheses appear, then our parent function in this case, the parent is the identity, which is the linear. So the parent function is f of x is x, which is the identity. It's the father or the parent of all linear functions. Now let's compare what happened here. Compare the f of x to part A. You have only multiplied by negative and then 3. If you see any negative, that means there is a reflection. And since the negative is outside the group, so it's reflection across the x-axis. So here, this minus causes reflection across x-axis. Also, we have a number here, which is the 3, that is multiplied by the x, not added to, multiplied. Multiplication, then it's dilation. So it's stretching or shrinking or compressing. If it is more than 1, as we have in our case here, 3 is more than 1, and outside the group, so it is stretched vertically. Refer to the previous videos that is discussing the transformation. It's for point 4, transformation of linear functions. So here, B is the correct choice because it's reflected across x-axis and stretched vertically because 3 or more than 1. For the other one, as we have expected, the minus is inside, so the reflection is across the y-axis, and the 3 is multiplied by the x inside the group, so the effect is horizontal effect, and it is the opposite case of the vertical stretching, since 3 is more than 1 inside the group, so it's compressed horizontally, and we will choose A. Let's move to the graphing. Graph for x plus 8y equals -16 using the x and the y intercept. For this, we need first to find x-intercept. Usually, to find x-intercept, assume y 0. So we will now cancel this. So it's 4x equals to minus 16. This is case 1. And you will divide both sides to solve 4 by 4 to solve for x, and this is minus 4. So the first point we have here is minus 4 and 0, negative 4, 0. تروح على negative 4, 0, and this is the first point. We choose another color to find y-intercept. And then we will assume now x0. Same equation now, but now we will leave the y, but we will cancel the x. So we will copy the 8y equals minus 16. Divide by 8 both sides, so y is negative 2. Y is negative 2 on the y-axis, so this is my y-intercept. So our line now is matching these 2 points, and the match should be proper matching. So kind of this kind of accurate line. نوصل بين النقطتين اللي هما الاكس انترسبت مقطع اكس ومقطع واي. مقطع اس الاكس لما واي 0، مقطع واي لما اكس تكون 0. Now, what is the slope of the line that is passing through negative 3 to negative 3, 4? We can notice here that negative 3 is here and there. No change in x. So that means my line is passing through minus 3 in all points. And it's very clear that it's a vertical line. Vertical line has undefined slope. You can also apply slope formula if you don't remember that. This is x1, y1, x2, y2. So my slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Subtract 4 minus 2 and down minus 3 minus minus 3. 4 minus 2, 2, minus 3 minus minus, so plus 3, minus 3 plus 3 is 0. 2 divided by 0 is undefined. You cannot divide by 0. Question 9. A bowling alley charges a flat fee to rent shoes. So we have a flat fee. Flat fee means any time, any way you are paying it, even if you don't play any games. This is a fixed charge. هذه ثابتة. There is an additional fee for each game played. So this one will be repeated depending on number of games. The function y equals to 5x plus 4.5, y equals 5x plus 4.5 represent this situation. Y is the cost of the bowling, x games, number of games. So this is number of games, and this number of games is multiplied by a certain number. Since this is the cost, so this will be the cost after playing some games, and this is a fixed cost that is not depending on number of games. That means if you want to fill in the blanks to interpret the parameters of the function, the price per game will definitely be the 5 because it is repeated, and the 4.5 is the flat fee or the rental charge that you are going to pay it even if you don't play any game. Write 12x plus 4y equals to negative 36 in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. That means we need to solve for y. If you want to solve for y, as we have done in the previous lessons, we will isolate the term including the y. نعزل الواي بطرف فنودي 12x للجهة الثانية. فصارت 4y equals to negative 12x. Change the sign. It was positive. صارت negative. Keep the negative 36. And then you will divide everything by the 4. Now what's left here? Y equals to minus 12 over 4, يعني minus 3x. And minus 36 over 4 is minus 9. Now, if you want to find the slope, if you are asked to find the slope, this is ready now. This is your slope. You might use it in graphing later. This is the slope that we call it M. And this is the y-intercept that usually we call it B, y-intercept. We can use it to graph the linear function later. The function k of x is equal to absolute value of x plus 3 is translated 3 units and 3 units. If you have the number inside the group, means inside the absolute value function sticks, then it will move either left or right. Since it's a plus here, it will move to the left. While this one is outside the group, so it will move up because it is plus. If it is minus, then it will move down. This is the summary if we have what we have learned before. إذن 3 في داخل القوس and plus, so it is moving 3 units left. And the other 3 is moving up. We filled in the blank properly. The graph of f of x is negative. This is outside the absolute value, so it is reflection across the x-axis. And there is also here plus 2 inside. They are not asking about it, but there is plus 2 inside, means 2 units left as well. If you are asked about it, you should mention it. The graph of g of x equals to x plus 2 is inside the group. The parent function is linear now. It is f of x equals to x only. Anyway, it's grouped with the x with the plus sign. It's not multiplication, it's added to. That means it is moving either left or right. We have agreed that if it is plus 2, that means it will move to the left and it will move 2 units to the left here. Describe how the graph g of x is related to the graph of the parent function. Now, this function has a parent function, يعني originally it was absolute value of x only. Now, what is added? You have here the minus is multiplied. It's outside the group. And any minus means reflection. So first of all, I write it in red. We have a reflection. Since the minus is outside the group, so it's reflection across x-axis. X-axis means the x-axis will behave like a mirror. If it is opening up, then the image will move down. Okay. Number 2, we have here a number 3 inside the bracket. And this is, let's write a green here. This is inside the bracket with a sign of plus. So it is moving horizontally, horizontal translation, and it will move 3 units left, horizontal translation. We have also here the 2 is outside with a plus. So that means it will have vertical translation, either up when it is positive, either down when it is negative. So it's up. That means we have here vertical translation 2 units up. إزاحة إلى الأعلى. All the transformation are mentioned here. Now select the graph of g of x equals negative. It's outside, and we have positive 6. These are the key easy numbers. Reflection means instead of opening up, so it will open down. So indeed, we will look only at B or C. But in B, we don't have any translation up. This is originally the function, and it's just reflected and moved to the right. While in C, this was reflected and moved 6 units up. If you count here, you will find that you have moved up 6 units. That means the correct answer is C. Let's extend this idea. What if you are asked to write the function here? What is the function correspond to B, for example? If you write the function, then you will write y equals to, since it has a v shape, then you will put absolute value and you will put x. Is there any translation? Yes. We have originally the parent function looks like that, starting from the origin. We have noticed that it has been moved 3 units to the right. مشي إلى اليمين 3 وحدات إلى اليمين. So we have to write -3. Is there any movement up or down? No. So here we will write nothing, 0. Now let's compare the thickness. The thickness, which is the slope, which can be summarized by the slope. And here we can consider that this is the thickness of the absolute value. It is different than this thickness. If you cannot observe that, then you need to find the slope. How can I find the slope? Slope can be found using any 2 points on one of the portions. We will take this portion and we will, this piece, take this and that one. Imagine that you are moving from this point to this point. So you are moving 1 unit to the right and 2 units down. Usually the slope can be found by finding the rise over run, or you can find it using slope formula. If you want to use the rise over run, then this is your rise and this is your run. It has been moved to the right 1 unit and it has been moved down 2 units. So the slope here in our case, to the right and down, so it is -2. Actually, we will write -2. We write -2 now. Oh, let's write 2 first. And we know already that it is reflected upside down. Instead of being opening up, it is opening down, مفتوح للأسفل. So we should consider the minus sign here. While in other cases, if it is opening up and you have found the slope of this part, let's say, and it was negative, you don't include the negative sign here. So simply this is the function here, and we will take another example. Let's take another example with shifting. For example, this one. We will write y equals to absolute value of x. Is there any translation? Originally, this is the parent function. This is originally the parent function. Does it move left or right, or it just moved down? We can observe that it's just moving down. So that's why we will write outside it is moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down. No movement to the right or left, so we will keep it as it is and we will put it at the middle like this, x. Now let's find the slope. If you want to find the slope, just choose 2 points on any portion. I'll use this part, this line, and I will find 2 points, 2 good points. This is 1 point and this is another point. And this is my rise and this is my run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the run is 1, 2. The slope is a rise over run, which is 3. So I write 3 here. And this is exactly what we were looking for. We cannot write negative here because it's not reflected. It is the same position, it's opening up. Now select the transformation here that relates to the parent function. Of course, we are all comparing with the parent function absolute value of x here. So absolute value of x here has been translated 6 units to the left. Where is it? Yes, here we are. We have here 2 outside the bracket and it's more than 1. That means it's vertically stretched. We have the minus inside the bracket, so there is a reflection, but over the y-axis. These are the transformations that we have here. We will stop here and we will continue to part 2 in the next video. See you there. نلتقي في الفيديو القادم مع تتمة لهذه المراجعة للفصل الرابع. إلى اللقاء.